What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for another daily extra. We haven't done one in a while, and I wish I didn't need to do this one either because it's gonna be a bad one, a weird one, something nobody wants to hear. I think, in my opinion, but we will go through it as always. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell on because based on the news that's coming out, something big in terms of good or bad news is gonna happen soon. We will go live as always. So yeah, stay tuned for that. As you can see in the title and in the news, I think everybody would have read the news by now. It's the Ligt situation. I think we know by now that he wants to leave, or that he's open to leave. The club wants to keep him, but on the other hand, they know if he's not going to renew, they need to move him on. Like, that's the situation we're in now, and it's more out than in at the moment. You know, it's more he's going to leave than he's going to stay and extend this contract until, I don't know, 26. So that's the news. That was basically all the news until I was live with Julian, and we were planning to do a Zaniolo live, and then the news broke. The news broke that Chelsea made an offer. The first offer they made was 25 plus 30 mil. 25 up. Excuse me. Oh my god. Between 25 and 30 mil plus Timo Werner. Juve said no. Then what happened according to Di Marzio is what you can see on my right. So Matthijs de Ligt is seen as Thomas Tuchel's #1 target, and the Blues are working behind the scenes to secure a deal. Chelsea would like to offer 45 now, between 45 and 50 million euros plus Timo Werner for the Ligt. But it seems at the moment as too little. You know, so Juve still thinks it's too little. De Ligt will be keen on a move to Chelsea, but Chelsea's proposal so far is seen as too little. Again, Werner's wages could also be a problem, who earns around 10 to 11 million euros net per season. But talks continue, as Werner would also like to move, but knows he will need to decrease his wages. They're working on finding a solution. Juve like Werner, he's seen as a similar player to Morata. So that's the news that basically broke when I was live with Julian. I've never heard any worse transfer news from a legit source ever, in my opinion. You know, because oh my god, first of all, the offer is, I think the offer is hilarious at this point. It's actually hilarious. I don't know. Apparently they value the Ligt at 85, 90 mil. Okay, fair. But Timo Werner is not worth 30 to 35 mil. Like, that's absolutely ludicrous. If Chelsea think that, if Juve think that, it's actually shambolic. If they actually think Timo Werner is worth that much money after the seasons he had. You know, that's number one. The second part is the fee. It's embarrassing. It's actually an insult. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that the club didn't really put their foot down and say, screw it, we need the money, because we need the money. We don't need Timo Werner worth 30 million or valued at 35 million. He's on 11, so his wages will be he needs to drop it. He needs to drop it to Morata's wages, and that's 5.5, 6. So he needs to cut his wages in half almost. So that's the other portion of the story. Just forget at the moment what you think about Werner, because we will get into that. We already needed to place Chiellini. Apparently we're not going to do that. We were thinking Gatti will fill that hole. Fine. Now you need to replace your best center back also. Wait, who? That's also an issue. This deal, if it's going to happen, if De Ligt wants to leave, somehow this deal needs to move really fast, because at a certain point all center backs are gone. All the good ones, quality ones will be gone. So this deal needs to happen fast, in my opinion, if it's going to happen, but not for that amount, because that amount is actually, I don't know, you can cry, you can laugh, you can do whatever you want. Chelsea, they're laughing at this moment in time. If the fact that the club, because Di Marzio also said there's no real talks, no negotiation, just some initial contacts, asking Werner, do you want to leave? Chelsea, what are you offering? All those things. So the fact that the club is actually entertaining bringing in Timo Werner, and he says, Di Marzio saying he's seen as a similar player to Morata. You didn't want to offer 30 mil for Morata, but you're gonna offer that basically. That's what you're gonna do for Timo Werner, who's on more money, who has worse stats than Morata. And Julian made a good point. We moved on from Morata. We got Vlahovic in the January transfer window because we were sick of Morata because he was struggling to score goals, all those things. You're bringing in a player who has worse numbers than Morata, who's actually doing worse over the last 2 seasons. I don't know, make it make sense. Like, I'm confused. And again, I'm not saying Juve are gonna accept this offer because I don't think they're gonna accept this offer because it makes no sense business-wise for the club. Absolutely no sense. But the fact that they're open to include Timo Werner in the deal is a worrying sign, and that's a red flag to me. I did the live with Julian. You can rewatch that live. It was a good one. It was a very good one. Not good news, but a good conversation. A very good conversation. Julian started off during the live being firmly positive, and he was giving me scenarios because he said, "What do you think of 80 plus Jorginho?" I said, "No, just give us cash, keep Jorginho," and he was going into that direction. So he was firmly positive, and my positivity was, if they're gonna offer a player, it's gonna be 60 plus a player. I'm 15 to 10 million off, but that's what I was expecting. Like 45, like they can keep Werner. If the Ligt wants to go, fine. You cannot hold it back. He wants out. I get it. Get the cash you need and get your own players. You don't need to include Timo Werner valued at 30, 35 million euros just because the Ligt wants out. And Chelsea needs a center back. The Ligt wants out. Chelsea are desperate. They lost Christensen. They lost Rudiger. They're desperate. They are in need for a center back. They are in need to remove Deadwood, which is Werner, from the team. And you're actually thinking about helping them out? Like, I don't get it. I'm actually confused. Again, I'm not saying, because I know people will say in the comments, "Oh, it's still early." It is early. It is early. The club said no to the offer, the previous offer, but even this offer, the club still thinks it's too low, which it is. Of course, like, obviously it's too low. But what DiMarcio said is worrying. The fact that they held talks with Timo Werner to ask. I mean, it makes sense at some point. Like, you need to ask if the player wants to move, but like, the thing I get of that is they actually like Timo Werner and they're entertaining the thought of bringing in Timo Werner in a possible deal with De Ligt and, I know, a few bucks, because that's a few bucks. I'm sorry. Arsenal signed Ben White for 40, Maguire, Phillips, like all the, Gabriel Jesus, 1 year left on his deal. They're paying 50 mil, 60, 80, whatever. And we are sitting here offering one of the best young defenders in the world for peanuts. Like, actually peanuts is what Chelsea are offering. That's peanuts. They paid 110, close to 110 with bonuses for Lukaku. They load them out for 8 million. They have money. They're desperate. Not we. We're not desperate. They should be the desperate team. But by the offer, going off the offer, they're kind of pulling up, not kind of, they're pulling our pants down at this moment in time. As it stands, the offer is, in my opinion, it's an insult. It's actually an insult also towards the Ligt, because it doesn't seem like they value the Ligt highly, because nobody's going to tell me they believe Timo Werner is actually worth 30 to 35 million euros. Unless they think the Ligt is worth 60 mil or 65 mil, then maybe that valuation makes sense. Maybe. But that's an insult. At that point, the Ligt should be insulted at that point. He's not going to be that, obviously, if he wants to move. But yeah, at the moment, now good news. Like, forget about the offer. The fact that the Ligt wants out, apparently, or like is hoping to move, is worrying, because we already lost Chiellini and we were not going to replace him. I came to the conclusion of like, fine, okay, got the backup, but now you also need to replace the Ligt on top of that. That's and who's available realistically? I know a lot of people believe you can get Koulibaly, like that deal could be done in like days, a matter of days or like weeks. I don't believe that. And after that, there's absolutely nothing for the money what we are getting also, because what, 45 million to 50 million, you're getting Botman. Botman costs at 40 mil. He's not even in the national team, the Dutch national team. Newcastle is paying 40 million euros for Botman. Chelsea is offering 45 million euros for De Ligt. Forget about Timo Werner. I don't care that that's a player they want to move on. Based on the last 2 seasons, he's not worth 30 to 35 million or whatever. I'm just looking at the valuation they're offering in cash. And that's already a red flag. Let's see what the club will do. Alfredo Pedula came out saying the club only wants cash. Maybe, but the fact that they held talks apparently with Chelsea and we're open to the idea of including players. One of them could be Timo Werner. Makes me a bit, doubtful about the news that the club only wants cash. That's just my opinion, based on how things are moving, how the club has operated in the past. I know it's a new management, but some things never change at the club. Some things will never change at this club. I think the question we also should be asking is why does the Ligt want to leave after 3 seasons? That's the question we need to ask, because the last 3 seasons were a mess. They were an absolute mess, and he's like, I don't need to be here at this point, and I don't blame him. If I were a Dutch player who's not a fan of the club, who wants to win, who's viewed as one of the best in the world, in his position potentially, I shouldn't commit to the club. I want to win, and I don't think we are in a position to win at the moment. We added Pogba, fine, but it's not that I'm looking at the team I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna dominate again. That's not the feeling I'm getting. So let alone ambitious players, they will be like, what? And I know we got Vlahovic, fine, but the Ligt has been here 3 years. He's seen it for 3 years, and he came to the conclusion this club is not going towards, or moving towards the ambitions I have. We can sit here and call out the Ligt, which is fine. You can do that, but I think we would be a bit hypocritical, because a lot of people are saying, me included, the club is not moving in a weird direction. It's not showing. The last 3 years we were all complaining, rightfully so. So we cannot sit here and say a player cannot complain. You can say he's part of the problem, but is he? Is the Ligt part? Is he the problem of the last 3 years? I don't think so. Again, if he wants to leave, the club needs to. I get it, but not for that offer, because that offer is actually insane. It's actually insane. But that's news that came out. Let's see how that will develop. It will develop. And if the Ligt wants out, I hope it develops quickly so we can move on, because we're waiting for a month and a half on Di Maria. We still have no right winger. We have no backup striker. Our midfield, Rabiot wants out. Arthur wants out. Keane wants out. Pellegrini wants out. You need to replace the Ligt maybe. We have so much to do. That's the last. Actually, it's a worst case scenario. This it's adding more problems to the already pile of problems we have, and we're struggling to fix at the moment because it's too much. Not because we don't want, but it's just too much at the moment. But let's see how that will develop. Before I leave, hit that bell notification, because we will go live if news breaks. Julian will be live. There will be dailies. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we have big things planned for the channel. Giveaways, maybe a Werner shirt. You can choose. You can choose Pogba, but we will do a new jersey giveaway soon. Very soon. We'll do more giveaways, and we have some fun stuff planned. So stay tuned for that. Oh my god, this news messed me up completely. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you back later today. Ciao.